For centuries, people have tried to answer the question of how to live well. The Greeks spoke of eudaimonia, human flourishing, a life of virtue and balance. The Romans talked about discipline, moderation, and mens sana in corpore sano, a healthy mind in a healthy body. Philosophy, religion, and culture all offered their own paths to the good life. But today, the language has shifted. We don't just talk about living well, we talk about optimization, about hacking our bodies and minds so that every hour of sleep, every meal, every workout is tracked and fine-tuned. Now, I don't mean simply trying to live healthily. I mean the language of efficiency, of data, of science applied to everyday life. People aren't just eating better, they're tracking their macros. They're not just going to bed earlier, they're analyzing their sleep cycles, their heart rate, and their recovery time through watches and apps. Some even re-engineer their routines minute by minute, convinced that if you can adjust just one more variable, life itself can be improved, maximized, perfected. But that raises some uncomfortable questions. First of all, what does perfect even mean? Is it being slimmer, faster, stronger? Is it about extending our lives so we don't age? Or is it about cramming more productivity into the years we already have? And who is this lifestyle really for? For athletes? For billionaires? Or for ordinary people who just don't want to feel tired all the time? Still, the bigger dilemma remains, how far is too far? Is sleeping in separate bedrooms a sign of failure in a marriage, or just common sense if it gives you better rest? Is clean eating a path to health, or the beginning of an obsession that takes the joy out of food completely? And when does an interest in self-improvement turn into a lifelong homework assignment where you are never quite good enough? Today, we're looking at the culture of optimization. Welcome back then to English and Beyond. My name is Oliver. I'm an English, Spanish and Latin teacher from the UK. And as always, you'll find a free transcript and vocabulary flashcards for this episode at www.morethanlanguage.com, so you can follow along, learn new expressions and optimize your English. Coming up now is the conversation I've had with César about this topic. Thanks for listening. So César, how are you?
I'm good.
Wearing a hat?
Yeah, I want to apologize. I don't know why, but my mom installed in me the fact that if you wear a cap in a indoors, basically, that's like impolite. It's bad manners. So I'm sorry, but my hair is getting out of hand. I need to go to the hairdresser. So.
Well, this is a terrible segue actually into the topic that we're going to talk about today, which is optimization of your life.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is actually a topic that you have suggested. Mm-hmm. Tell us, César, why you suggested it.
Just because I was watching the telly last night. I know you hate when I say telly or broly.
Broly is worse than telly. Telly is fine, but broly, I dislike. It's true.
I was watching the television and they were talking about biohacking and how rich people especially were obsessed with optimizing their lives and using like Apple Watch and other devices to optimize their sleep, their fitness activity.
And you thought, I need to get in on that.
Yeah.
I want to be one of these rich billionaires.
I'm not rich, but I'm trying to optimize my sleep. Like my dad bought us this Apple Watch thingy. So every morning, the first thing I do, I don't check my phone anymore. I check how many hours I have slept.
Well, I mean, it's actually, so one of my best friends, he told me that he is currently sleep divorced from his partner. Mm-hmm. They sleep in separate beds. And he does this basically because if he doesn't, then he doesn't sleep well enough. Mm-hmm. And his job requires him to kind of be very alert, very on the ball, and always present, and always very, I hate that phrase, always present, always mindful, always there and ready to respond on a second's notice. And so, yeah, basically at the moment, he's just sleeping in a separate bedroom because he wants to optimize his sleep. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that? How far should we go in the name of optimization, because for some people, sleeping in a separate bed from your partner would constitute kind of a marital failure. For me, I don't think so at all. For me, I think it's actually very sensible. But some people who are maybe a little bit more emotional might think actually that's not something you would draw the line before that.
It's the end of a relationship. No, like my grandparents slept apart.
But did they have a relationship?
90.
Did they have a relationship? Still,
Yeah. No, I think it's quite common when people grow older or get older to sleep in different beds, or even in different bedrooms, if they have enough space in their flat, because that's another thing. Yeah. What do I think of that, or how far one should go, to have an optimized lifestyle? Yeah. I think everyone is looking for a healthy lifestyle, and that involves diet, a healthy diet.
I mean, you say everyone, but I'm just sorry to cut you off so early, but do you really think that's true? That everyone is looking to optimize their lifestyle?
Most people, as an adult, you want to be healthy.
Do you think that's true though? Like most people as an adult are looking to optimize their life.
Not optimize, but be healthy. I think once you turn 30, you start having some health issues and you're like, okay, maybe it's the time to start taking care of my health more seriously.
I think you're being very optimistic, but I think part of the reason that you think that is because the people that you know are basically people in their 30s, hardly any of whom have children. But if you've got a child, then I think that lots of people are just trying to get by, aren't they? And they're not thinking about how can I optimize my diet to make sure I have all the macro and micronutrients that I need. I'm sure that lots of people are doing it, but I think isn't it supposedly kind of like the mark of a midlife crisis or an affair when your husband or wife, who has shown no interest in this previously, suddenly is like going to the gym and tracking their diet and everything, because to show a sudden interest in optimization,
but I think
shows a shift in priority.
I think the priority comes because aging, the process, pushes you to do that. Like in my case, I'm not a crazy person about optimizing every single bit of my life. But since I turned 30, I had many different issues with my lower back, especially where I've been in bed for 1 week and recovering from that injury for months. I got something called non-alcoholic fatty liver, where I have to take care of my diet. I have to drink as little as possible. I have to lose weight. So these different things add up, and you want to have the healthiest lifestyle you can get by with. So, but I'm not thinking about macronutrients all the time. But I'm like, when I was 20, I was thinking, I'm not gonna have a pizza again because yesterday I had a burger. Now I've been more sensible with my decisions.
So, but you were saying that when you were 20s, you weren't thinking
as much about my lifestyle or about I should sleep more tonight because I didn't sleep properly the previous days. It was more like I can get by, I can eat whatever I want and sleep as little as possible.
I mean, to me, part of the reason that you search to optimize your life is because you are the kind of person who's quite perfectionist. And I think both of us have quite black and white thinking about lots of different things. And I only realize how black and white my thinking is when someone tells me that it seems incredibly black and white to them. And I think you take it for granted that other people are doing the same as you, but I don't think that other people are.
Sorry, I need to stand up. My watch is saying I need to stand up for 1 minute. Do you mind?
But I think you're quite a perfectionist, and I think you've got quite black and white thinking like I do and like I am. And I think you think a lot about self-improvement, what constitutes success, what constitutes improvement and quality in itself.
And it's really frustrating because you never achieve what you set up for yourself, right?
Obviously. But I don't think that is a mentality that everybody has. And I think actually it's not even necessarily a good mentality to have, because I think that this kind of like endless self-improvement, endless optimization can be really counterproductive, because I think it becomes quite obsessive. So, for example, you can end up with an eating disorder, not anorexia or eating excessively, but instead orthorexia, like the obsession of eating totally correctly.
Yeah.
So like clean eating, recording everything you eat and making sure you're getting all of your nutrients, where I think most people, even if it's technically optimized for you, it has negative psychological elements that make it counterproductive. I suppose the question is, if you don't experience those counterproductive elements, if you don't actually find it a burden to eat perfectly all the time, then is it really a problem? But I really don't think it's as common as you think it is. I think it's because of the people that you are friends with that you think that this kind of interest in being perfect or trying to be perfect exists. But there's this example of this man who is very famous now because he's always in the newspaper, because he's obsessed with trying to be young, Bryan Johnson, who I think it got to the point that he was having blood transfusions from his son to him to replenish his body. And I mean, when you look at pictures of it, I mean, maybe he is looking incredible. I don't know. I mean, he talks all the time about all of his biological markers being much younger than he is. But most people looking at that optimization, I think, are like, this is just, it's gone too far. And also because he kind of looks a bit odd because of everything he's doing. So what do you think about someone like that?
Well, I think that's going too far, right? Like, would you sign, if you could live until the age of 200, would you sign it?
I mean, I suppose it would depend on how long other people lived, and also it would depend on the quality of life that you had. I mean, if I'm going to progress normally to the age of 80, and then live like an 80-year-old for another 120 years, that doesn't appeal to me too much. If I lived like a 40-year-old for 150 years and then went off a cliff for another 30 or whatever, then that would be okay.
I mean, I think this case you mentioned is basically the eccentricity of a millionaire, or billionaire, I don't know. But who knows, that might open the door for future treatments or future strategies to keep people alive for longer. I think in a better state.
I think that is kind of how he views it, that he's not just doing it for himself. But there was also that article, wasn't there? Or there was also that conversation that, who was it? Was it Putin and President Xi, the president of China, about the potential to live forever?
Yeah. Well, there were some secret files or something. I read something, but I can't really remember what it was about. But yeah, I know what you mean.
But I know that there's a very famous gay billionaire who apparently has blood transfusions from young people all the time.
It's like Dracula.
Well, that is what people say, that it is a bit like Dracula. And I guess that is an optimization, no? And maybe you checking kind of your steps and your hours sleep on your watch, maybe it's a drop in the ocean that's a bit of a waste of time. Maybe you should be looking into some blood transfusions. I don't know. Maybe there's a budget version of that. So where would you draw the line? As someone who is interested in optimization, where do you draw the line? You?
I think doing these transfusions couldn't be beneficial to my mental health. So
I think, why?
Well, because like,
you might love it, because you might, every time you get a transfusion, you might feel physically rejuvenated.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's that effective in the first place.
If it were, would you do it?
Probably yes. If I had the money.
So your red line is not that much of a red line.
Yeah, what is the red line? I don't know, because I don't have access to these treatments. I don't think I will ever have access to this. But maybe.
Okay.
I'm just doing what I can, which is checking my, like, I feel like I'm being portrayed as someone who's like... Portrayed as someone who's like obsessed with live longer.
Yeah.
And I just want to, heal my little condition.
I think you're sweating out of this fear.
body hot. Yeah.
Being interrogated.
Yeah, and I think the cup is making my body hotter. How does my hair look?
Optimized.
Optimized, okay.
Yeah, optimal.
But I mean, I'm talking to someone who takes like 200 pills a day. Do you have anything to say about that?
Mine are medications.
No.
Which
I'm talking
ones?
about the vitamins and you've got so many.
I actually have loads more arriving in the post. I only have at the moment vitamin D, which is a hangover
At
from
some
being
point you were
British,
having
and
like
vitamin
10
C.
different vitamins.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the little bag you open and they were all together.
It was like, well, that was recommended by my personal trainer in London. It was like a joint care thing because my shoulders were bad from, my shoulders are still bad. And they're not helped by, filming these episodes because you have your microphone that is on an arm and I'm like leaning over. So
sometimes I feel like I live with a Gwyneth Paltrow.
So you're turning the tables on me basically, no?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as the person in control of the podcast, I think we'll end it there then.
Okay. Let's optimize something. Now we're done.
What do you mean?
Now after doing this, let's do something like have like an optimized lunch or something.
Well, for people who I actually think we're not very good at optimizing things because, like, for example, that kind of thing, we might like approximately count calories, but we're not very good with actually checking whether we have like a particularly healthy diet. It's not a bad diet, but it's not optimized. There's something I wanted to talk about that we haven't talked about is the fact that I would love to be someone who lives an optimized lifestyle, but I think I'm just too lazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's you need consistency and
it's like an everyday thing.
Be very consistent and yeah.
And I just have such strong FOMO that like I can feel very virtuous if I haven't drunk anything for a week. But then I'm like, but I want to live. I want to go out. I want to meet people. I don't want to just exist. I want to live. So I get a glass of red wine. The optimization is gone.
Fair enough.
Although actually with the last, few minutes, that takes us to the other problem of optimization, which is if you trust the Daily Mail, one of the most famous British newspapers, it's both optimal to have a glass of red wine and also never to drink red wine.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Everything is unhealthy and healthy at the same time, potentially.
Yeah. Okay, well, I can see that I've made you very uncomfortable in this episode, César, so it's time for us to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just hot.
Okay. Sweating under pressure. Yeah. So, well, thank you very much, César, for talking to me about this topic.
Thank you.
And until next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.